Hey, LDMMAC, forgive the background noise. Let's get right into it. All right, guys, I'm going to thoroughly explain the whole Francis Ngannou contract negotiation debacle and, why he's upset. And Francis Ngannou, you can look at this, and his base pay was $600,000. Now, did Ngannou make more than $600,000? Yeah, of course he did. He made more than that because he's going to get some pay-per-view points. He was a main eventer. Yeah, he'll probably get anywhere from between $800,000 to about $1.1 million when everything's done. Okay, and that depends surely on how many pay-per-views were sold and how many pay-per-view points were negotiated in his contract. All right, but Francis Ngannou said, "I'll never fight for $600,000 again." I mean, it's the principle. And when we look at $600,000, you say to yourself, "That's a lot of money." To us, it is. But when you look at a guy like Ngannou, right, who came from nothing, who literally came from nothing, and he pretty much had to work and get what he got to go in there and put his body through the rigorous training of training camp. I mean, to put his body through intense training, okay, getting injured. I mean, he got injured during training camp. I mean, that couldn't have been fun. And then, to come back when you get your $600,000 purse, you got to pay your manager, you got to pay your trainer, your head trainer, all your trainers, you got to pay them all. And sometimes you have to pay your training partners, okay? It depends on if he had to bring those people in to help him prepare for Cyril Gane. Specifically, if you bring in people to help you specifically train for a person, then yeah, you're gonna have to pay those people. Sometimes you don't have to pay the people you train with because they're in that gym, and it's like iron sharpening iron, okay? That's what it is. You're helping that person prepare as well. But I'm pretty sure, so that $600,000, that's gonna end up more like being $200,000, okay? That he'll probably get to go home with. And then, of course, taxes and all that. Yeah, that $600,000 may be about $200,000 when he's done. So think about that. Think about that. Why is he pissed? Well, I mean, for number one, for starters, how would you feel if you came up with an innovation to help your boss make money? Let's just say you came up with some production tool to help you mass produce whatever, some widgets. Let's say if you came up with a tool to mass produce widgets and produce these widgets at a higher rate, therefore you can, put more widgets out into the world and make more money. Let's say if you helped your boss make $2 million and your boss was so happy with what you did that he's going to give you $50,000. Now, I want y'all to think about that for a minute. Let that sink in, okay? You did something to help your boss or your company make a lot of money, and they can only pay you $50,000. How does that sound? I mean, would you be happy with that? Well, see, that's how Francis Ngannou feels. He feels that way. Like, he's helping the UFC making money hand over fist. Okay? He's an entertaining fighter. He's knocking dudes the hell out. I mean, he works hard. Okay? He's making these people a lot of money. It's the same thing, Tyron Woodley, how he used to feel. Same thing John Jones kind of just said, damn, the hell with this. No, man, they can pay me a lot more than what they paying me. And they need to pay me a lot more than what they paying me. Like these fighters, they're starting to get smart. And Ngannou understand he know his worth. He know what he worth. He know what kind of money he helping the UFC bring in. And it's like, okay. So Dana White was like, whoa, he's got a bad management team. Wait a minute. So why is it that when his brother, his management team is telling him, hey, Francis, you know what, man? This fight is worth a lot more than what they're trying to give you on the contract. Hey, Francis, look, man, we really need to, when we work out your next deal, we need to really negotiate some things. Okay, and Ngannou, now this new deal, I guess, however many fights Ngannou got on this contract, is going to pay him in upwards of about $7 million. Now you think, yeah, that's a good contract. It's pretty decent as far as like the UFC is concerned, but he also wants to be able to box. And for the life of Ngannou, he don't understand why. I'm an independent contractor. Okay, so wait a minute, am I part of a company or am I an independent contractor? See, like at Bellator, the one thing that the fighters like about Bellator is that if they want to go box, they can box, and Scott Coker is going to be on board with that. But Dana White is not. Like, they signed Ngannou to an ironclad contract, right? The contract is ironclad. So that means he can't go out and box. He can't make any extra money. I mean, they can do these little grapple tournaments where they can't strike, but you don't make a whole lot of money doing that. You don't make a lot of money doing that at all. So it's like, okay, what does Ngannou do? Because he know that, he can go box Tyson Fury and make $3 to $4 million just like that. I mean, think about how many fights in the UFC would he have to fight to get that kind of money. He can just go and box Tyson Fury. and go get beat up by Tyson Fury and go make the kind of money he need to make. And that's what Ngannou looking at. Francis Ngannou is looking at the amount of money that he can make by just going to box, supplement his income fight. And it's like he can't understand why Dana White don't want that to happen. Like, what the hell? I mean, you don't want these guys to make the money. So what Ngannou got to do, I mean, either he's going to sign the deal for $7 million or he not, and he just going to go ahead and box. But I don't see Dana White budging. I don't see him budging. I don't understand, man. You want to sign these guys, and these guys, you want to go in here and bleed and sweat in that octagon. And Dana White will defend his position. He'll say, oh, well, you know, our pay is better than anybody in the industry. Yeah. Could it be better? I mean, he bragged about the pay, but, man, come on, man. And what Davis and Figueiredo them made, man, that's it's laughable, bro. It's laughable seeing that, you know, what kind of starter these people are. But, you know, it's in the contract. So once they sign a certain amount of fights in the contract, they get a certain amount of money. Okay? So Ngannou likes the new $7 million deal, but he wants to be allowed to box. He wants to box. He wants to be able to go out and supplement his income. He don't want to be held down to just, oh, I got to fight in the UFC. Okay, well, I just got to fight in the UFC. The only way I can make my money is through the UFC because the UFC tell me so. Like, you know, who wants to do that, man? And guys, everybody thinking that's the reason why Conor McGregor, that's the reason why he kind of just took a hiatus. He made that boxing money, and he just like, you know, why go in there into the octagon, go get my ass whooped and get it handed to me when I can just go get beat up in boxing and make a huge payday, and I'm set for life. Like, think about it. Think about how many times would Conor McGregor have to fight in the UFC to make $100 million? Fought Floyd Mayweather one time and made it. Went all the way to the bank. Think about it. Think about Tyron Woodley. Okay, how many fights in the UFC do you think Tyron Woodley would have to fight? Seriously, how many fights do you think he would have to fight to make the money he made in fighting Jake Paul in 2 fights? Folks, it don't make sense. It don't make any sense at all. Okay, for, you know, these contracts that Dana White give these guys, and then these guys, you know, they can't have an inkling of just, I want to go out and make more money. I want to do this. No. If you want to go box or do something else, you can't do it because you're in an ironclad contract, even though you're an independent contractor. And Ngannou understand, man. He understand that, look, man, I'm worth more than what you're trying to give me. I'm worth more. I'm worth more. I mean, even a $7 million contract, how many fights is that? I mean, what is that like? Is that about 6 fights? Maybe. Okay. You think about that $7 million that he'll make off of that contract. How much money is the UFC going to make? Oh, they're going to make money hand over fist. They're going to make money hand over fist. I think, you know, Dana White was a billionaire. He's a billionaire, man. And, you know, when they show, like, the total purse payout, like it was like $2 point something million for all those fights, you kind of have to shake your head. About $2 point something million on a pay-per-view, right? And that's the total of all the purses combined. That's less than the gate. That's less than the gate. The gate brought in more money than $2 point something million. And so when people say, well, you know, Dana can't pay these guys, he can't pay them because they got to do this, they got to do X, they got to do Y. Well, evidently the pay-per-views did pretty decent. Evidently they did decent. Okay? So these guys can't, you know, they can't take home more money. That's how it is, man. That's what they do. That's what they do. They try to, they get these guys, they use these guys all up. These guys go into the octagon, and after they done, after about 4, 5, 6 years, they beat up. Guys can't be coherent anymore. They ain't got a damn pot to piss in. And all they got are memories and wars in the octagon that they fought, but they ain't got no money to show for it. See how many fighters retiring now? They got nothing to show for it. They got not one damn thing to show for it. These fighters, man, they don't even get no kind of pension. And the UFC could afford to do it. They don't get a pension. They don't get none of that. Then I'm talking about these people that went in there and fought wars. They have nothing. They have nothing to show. But, you know, I guess that's Dana White whole money-making scandal. Now, people always ask, have people ever wanted to beat the hell out of Dana White? Sure. A lot of fighters have. A lot of fighters have actually wanted to beat his ass. And they've, you know, tried to. But then, you know, if you go beat him up and touch him, what's the use? You're going to be in jail. Okay? And you can forget about having a career after the fight game. So, I mean, a lot of fighters, they just don't want to go do no time. And They're not trying to sit nobody in jail, so they don't. But trust me, you don't think a lot of these fighters, man, they want to choke. Like the way Ngannou was talking about Dana White, Ngannou had a look like he wanted to go and strangle Dana White's ass. Like for real. Ngannou had that look when he was talking to Ariel Helwani. Had that look on his face, man, like, he just want to strangle and knock the hell out of Dana White. Oh, it's plenty of fight. They want to. But, they don't want to end up in jail. They don't want to go to jail, for beating the hell out of Dana White. Because if they do that, he's going to win that all day long. So what does a guy like Ngannou do? Do you sign this contract worth $7 million? Do you sign it? Okay? Or do you just forget it and say, nope, I'm finna go box Tyson Fury? I mean, hell, I'll watch that for as long as it lasts anyway. I'll watch it. And people want to see that. But, he's got some things to think about. And see, Ngannou, he had to beat Cyril Gane. Had he lost to Cyril Gane, they wouldn't have re-signed him. Okay, Francis Ngannou would not have been in this situation had he lost to Cyril Gane. Because he beat Cyril Gane, it's got Dana in the bind. Dana don't like the fact that he won the fight. I mean, the man wouldn't even put the damn belt on him, man. He wouldn't even come in there and put the damn belt on the man. Dana White was like, no, man, it's BS. Dana White got to go. Like, he legit got to go, man. I mean, you got a guy, man, he's supposed to be a promoter, a top-notch promoter. This guy getting infused with fighters, man. You're supposed to spend your time promoting these guys. This dude be feuding with fighters and talking about them and, just trying to, kill their brand. I mean, the mess that he did to Chris Cyborg, that was crazy. What he did to Tyron Woodley, which I don't really care too much about that was crazy. What he did to George St. Pierre, that was crazy. Like, you are a promoter, and you get in there and you feud with fighters. It don't make sense, man. It don't make sense. And then he was talking about how his fighters don't respect him. Why? Why should they respect you? What respect do you give these people when you go to the negotiating table? What respect do you give these people when you're on national TV, like just talking and dogging them out? And you want somebody to respect you? You want people to actually physically respect you. I mean, it's funny as hell, man, what this guy and how this guy thinks. It's funny. It's funny. And I understand, you have people that you pay, like, people who can put their asses in seats, you pay them. I get that. But the people who really do put them in seats, you don't try to lowball them. And then when they don't sign the contract that you lowballed them on, then you go out and then you talk all kind of harsh, just crazy stuff about the person. You talk all kind of noise about the person because they don't want to sign a lowball offer contract. Like, you know what? Ain't nobody supposed to have no damn common sense. I mean, if Ngannou don't sign the contract, I mean, it's just what it is, It's what it is. I know the John Jones versus Ngannou fight, we might as well go on and forget that. We probably won't be seeing that one. Okay, that fight probably ain't going to happen. But, so that's what happened with Ngannou in this whole contract. He's not going to sign it. The man want to box. He want to go out and do other stuff outside of fighting in the octagon. And, I think, that's something that they need to change, man. Something that they need to change. They need to change it. And not only Ngannou, he didn't get what he was worth. I mean, Cyril Gane, to me, didn't make what he was worth. And Figueiredo and Moreno, man, they went in there and fought hard. But that's it. That's all they got. And Dana White, man, he used to kill me, man. Like, he would give these guys, like, the $50,000 bonus. He'd go, hey, man, you ought to be happy. You got another $50,000 bonus. And, some one of these fights, I need to say, hey, Dana, you ought to be happy. You made another $100 million while I made $50,000. You see? Anyway, man, I hope brother Ngannou get what he getting out of this thing. Look at this dude right here. There ain't no dude. But I hope brother Ngannou get everything that he's supposed to get. Okay? And I'm done. Look at this dude on this motorcycle. I'm done.